What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nick.
My name's Nathan.
And this is Full Throttle Cars. As you can tell by the title of the video, we're going to be talking about kind of a sad topic in the automotive world, and that is the discontinuation of V8s and V10s and the muscle cars. All of that is going to be going away here very shortly. So with that said, let's jump right into the video. Alright guys, so let's jump right into this video talking about Dodge. And if you haven't been paying attention this week to several announcements Dodge has made, they are unfortunately discontinuing the Charger and Challenger models as the age of the V8 is kind of going out, and they're going to be trying to go out with a bang with several commemorative edition models coming here within this next year. And again, production is going to be ending in December 2023. That's when they're shutting down the factory. That's the last chance to get one of these cars, and those are going to be among the last to come off the production line. Now, we don't know a whole lot about these cars yet, but we do know a little bit, and Nathan will explain a little bit of what we know, some of the special things they're doing.
Yeah, so what we know is that they are going to be really making a thing of all of these last call cars. Whenever you purchase one of these, it will have under the hood a last call plaque to show you, oh, this was one of the last vehicles, at least muscle cars, that Dodge made. And they're also going to be doing a little bit of a throwback. They're going to be putting some older colors on these cars. So Sublime Green, B5 Blue, Plum Crazy. Those are going to be colors that you can find on these vehicles, really throwing back to some older colors and just kind of commemorating sort of muscle cars coming to an end. Alright, so and what Dodge is trying to do here is they are trying to go out with a bang right now, go out on top of the muscle car world. They are the most popular muscle car producer, in the Canadian factory that they have that they're about to shut down. They have put out over 3 million Chargers and Challengers, which actually equivalents 1 billion horsepower that they have put out. I just think that's insane. And it is pretty cool that Dodge is trying to end right here while they're still on top in sort of a second golden age of muscle cars.
Alright guys, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the allocations for these cars. Apparently, from what I read and what I watched on the video when Dodge announced this, certain dealers are going to get specific cars going to them, and then you as a consumer will be able to look on Dodge's website to find where these specific cars are going, which dealers are getting which cars. So that way you can go to those dealers or contact those dealers to hopefully get an allocation for one of these cars that they're going to be getting in. I don't think there's going to be any special ordering for any of the consumers specifically to order, say, their exact spec right from Dodge. It's going to be depending on what is coming into the dealer that you're going to put your allocation at, on what kind of car that you can get, whether you want a Scat Pack, an RT, whatever. You just got to look and see which dealer is getting the spec that you want. Alright guys, so on the topic of these allocations, I have been considering maybe trying to get one of these allocations. I don't know exactly how this whole process is going to play out, but I am going into the last year of my engineering degree. Hopefully, by the time some of these cars are coming off the line, I'll be several months into my first engineering job, and hopefully be able to build up some finances to maybe afford one of these cars, maybe trade in the TL Type S on one of these cars maybe. I don't know all that right now, but I think these cars are going to, at the very least, hold their value. This is the last run of the big American V8 muscle cars, something you may never see again, and that's why I think they're going to hold their value or go up, especially with the commemorative editions. If you can get a special color like that Plum Crazy with that last call plaque, I really think that they're going to at least hold their value. But one of the better decisions you can make, other than buying one of these cars, getting an allocation, is going down and smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm. You may not think it helps, but it helps us out a lot. So if you could take a moment to do that, that would help us out a lot. But with that said, we'll continue the video. Alright guys, so before we jump into the future, the electric future of cars and the electric future of Dodge, I just want to mention that this is kind of a very similar type scenario to what happened back in 1973 with the oil crisis. Before then, you have all these big, high horsepower, big engine V8 muscle cars that are horrible on gas, but very fun to drive and sound really good. Until you have all the restrictions take place, you have to cut down on engine size, make more fuel efficient vehicles to save on gas, and that's kind of what's happening now, except for not as much of a drastic immediate change. This has been happening over the past few years. I mean, Tesla's kicked the whole thing off with the popular EV well over 10 years ago now, or about 10 years ago, when they released the Model S. But now, after the auto industry has thrown in, I believe, over $500 billion, $500 billion into electrifying manufacturing and building electric vehicles, electrifying all the model lineups. So many car companies have said they're going to be adding 10, 20, 30 electric vehicles in the next decade. And that's just the shift of how it's happening right now. As you know, we obviously did get the return of big engine V8 muscle cars, but if that's going to happen again, I think that's going to be a long way in the future. And maybe it'll happen someday, and maybe they'll just be like special runs or something. But hopefully big engine cars like that return maybe someday with new technologies, maybe alternative fuels, who knows. But for the time being, this industry is shifting to electric, and the end of the V8 era is now. Alright guys, so moving on from kind of the sad news of the discontinuation of the V8 muscle car from Dodge, we're moving on to the new reveal of the electric car concept from Dodge, the Banshee, the Dodge Charger Daytona SRT Banshee. Quite a mouthful to say, but it is a very cool looking car. I'll throw up some pictures on the screen right now. It kind of looks like a modern classic Charger at the same time, a very futuristic take or modern take on the old, like late 60s, 1970 Dodge Charger that looks really cool here in this concept version. I'll also throw up a video on the screen right now of the exhaust that you can hear from it. Now I know what you're thinking, an exhaust system on an electric car, but apparently Dodge has done some interesting things with it. I'll show you on the screen right here. So let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments below. I think it actually sounds really cool. It's not just a big V8 sound that's putting out with speakers or something from it. It actually does sound kind of like a mix between a V8 and electric motor, kind of like an in-between ground there, which is really interesting. I want to look at this just so I know what I'm talking about when I'm speaking on the video, but they call it a fratzonic chambered exhaust. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's one thing that the CEO of Dodge was stressing whenever he was making this video and this reveal, that if they're going to be making an electric car, they're going to be making it a Dodge. That means it's got to be fun to drive, it's got to sound cool, and it's got to look good as well. And I think they really knocked it out of the park with this concept. I hope this concept makes it into production here real soon. He said I think it's got an 800 volt electronic system, so it should be plenty fast and hopefully faster than the current modern muscle cars from Dodge. Even the big Demon that goes 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds. This thing could even be faster. I think they're going to have several engine options with it. So I think this is a really cool step for Dodge here. Really not throwing away their heritage, but still jumping into this electric car world, which is just taking over the industry.
Alright guys, so something else that we want to mention in this video is that we aren't just losing our V8 muscle cars, what we're also going to be losing are some V10 cars. So there are two V10 cars in production. One is the Audi R8, their V10 obviously, and then two is the Lamborghini Huracan. Now both of these cars are actually going to be phasing out their V10 in the near future. Again, something very sad, but Nick is going to be talking about what they're going to replace them with here.
Alright guys, so yeah, just what Nathan said, these V10 powertrains are going to be going. Audi has already announced that they're going to be going all electric with the successor to the R8, which is pretty disappointing honestly, because that V10 engine in the R8, the same one that's in the Huracan, they sound really good. Those cars perform well. They have a feeling to them. I'd love to own one of those cars someday. Realistically, my realistic, if you could say it, dream car would be a Huracan or one of those new V10 R8s, because I just love the way they sound. They're actually relatively reliable too. But anyways, let's get off that topic. We're going into the future of these cars. Again, Audi's going electric. Lamborghini's most likely getting rid of that V10 here in the coming years as well, going probably in favor of some smaller engine that's turbocharged, something like you see in the Urus, but maybe tuned up more for the Huracan, or maybe even in the future a hybrid powertrain. I know Ferrari is doing a lot more hybrid stuff now than they used to, and that's where they're getting their big power numbers from, like on the SF90. All of that is a hybrid powertrain, and that's what's helping them get 0 to 60 times and stuff like that. So the performance factors make sense to go into hybrid and electric stuff. However, again, you're going to be losing a lot of that driver feeling and the emotion of the car by getting rid of these big engine cars. And it is disappointing, but again, if you are in the position financially to buy one of these last couple year R8s or last couple year Huracans before they go electric, before they go hybrid, before they get rid of that V10, I think that will be a great investment, and those things are going to only go up in value.
Alright, so now that we've really talked about the phasing out of the V8 and V10 cars, something that we need to mention then in this video is what they're going to be replaced with. So Nick, he already talked about the electric Banshee, basically the replacement for the Challenger and the Charger. Something I'm going to talk about now is a couple of, hinted cars, and then a possible supercar and maybe a hypercar in the future. So the couple hinted cars that I'm talking about are maybe a Honda replacement or sort of a mimicking of the S2000. That would be their specialty EV car. We don't really have much information about that, but hopefully they do come out with a fun replacement for that. Also, something that has been hinted at is a replacement for the Acura NSX. Now that car is already a hybrid, but replacing it with a full electric car that sort of mimics it in the future, that would be very cool, and that's something that has been hinted at.
Alright guys, so another classic American car that's going to be electrified in the future is most likely going to be the Chevy Corvette. Now it's already been announced by GM or teased by GM in the past that the Corvette is going to get some form of electrification. I don't know whether that's going to be a hybrid system or full electric at the moment. There's not really very many details about that out right now, but GM has announced they are doing development on electric stuff for the Corvette. Now there also recently has been renders that came out and possible teases of maybe an all-electric Corvette SUV. I don't know the validity of any of these things, but I think that would be a really interesting thing for GM to do, is kind of make Corvette its own brand within GM rather than associated specifically with Chevy. Corvette's always had the Corvette logo. There's never really been Chevy branding on the Corvette. Kind of a similar thing that Ford did with the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Chevy could do, or GM could do, with the Corvette logo, with that well-received, well-known brand image of Corvette, and try to bring in support for upcoming EVs. If they make a high horsepower SUV, maybe they could throw that Corvette logo on there. Again, I don't know the validity of any of this stuff that I've been seeing recently. I don't think anything's been announced by GM about an electric Corvette, or an electric SUV Corvette rather. Just something interesting I thought I'd throw out there that could actually be a really cool thing for GM to do.
Alright, so one vehicle that we absolutely have to mention, that is, if it ever comes out, is the new Tesla Roadster. So this vehicle has been, it's been sort of in the air, it is in engineering right now. At Tesla, they have been trying to make an electric supercar that will be able to travel 620 miles. That is sort of their promise right now. And it will be able to go past 250 miles an hour, which I think that is just insane. So the range and the speed on an electric car, that would really help, push electric cars into the supercar market that would maybe satisfy people with losing the V8s and the V10s.
So on that same topic of supercars, we're moving into even the hypercar realm here with a potential Bugatti electric car, with their partnering with Rimac to build something interesting. So the W16 is unfortunately getting phased out, so that means maybe the successor to the Chiron could be all electric with this partnership with Rimac. Maybe it'll be a hybrid, but again, they are phasing out that W16, and Rimac already has made basically an electric hypercar that I'll throw up on the screen right here. There's not a lot of them, and I don't know a whole lot about that car, So whether you can even actually purchase it right now or not, I'll throw that up on the screen, just some pictures of it. And if you know more, let us know in the comments section. Maybe we'll have to make a video about all the current electric hypercars that are being produced, or in engineering, whatever. If you want to see that, let us know in the comments again. But yeah, just an interesting future for the hypercar industry as well. Hybridization is what originally led to the term hypercar, a hybrid supercar, which started, I believe, in 2013 with the holy trinity of hypercars, the Ferrari LaFerrari, McLaren P1, and the Porsche 918. But now, again, in the modern times, it's not just hybrids anymore. We also have fully electric hypercars. And just an interesting time in the automotive industry with the transition from fully gas-powered cars to hybrids, and then now to fully electric stuff. Alright guys, so that's just about going to wrap up today's video. Just a short recap. We aren't losing performance in this move to electrification as we kind of did in 1973 with the oil crisis. That just went to smaller, more fuel efficient, not very fun cars. We are still getting some very fun cars. I don't want to lead you in the direction of this is the end of any kind of fun car you're ever going to be able to drive. But again, the transition from fully gas, big V8 engines to electric stuff, it's kind of sad for a lot of enthusiasts. However, as we mentioned previously, Nathan mentioned, I mentioned, some very fun, cool, coming up electric cars that are going to be supercars, sports cars, hypercars. The car industry is still strong. The enthusiast industry is still strong. And I don't know if Nathan has anything else to add before we end this video. But yeah, if you want to say anything about the end of the V8, whatever you have to contribute.
Yeah. Personally, as an electrical engineering student at a university right now, I am really excited for what's coming up, especially with the new exhaust system that Dodge just patented, their Fratsonic exhaust system. I'm really excited to hear what new electric cars are going to sound like and just how they're going to progress in the future, getting more and more powerful.
So that is going to do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, share the channel, comment down below your favorite upcoming electric car or your favorite old muscle car. What do you guys think about this new move to electrification? And with that said, we'll see you in the next video.
Bye guys.